Fabulous. There we go. Lovely. Welcome, welcome. Happy New Year to those of you I haven't seen. I hope your New Year started well. I always thought that this month, January, it's my dad's birthday at the weekend, and I always feel sorry for him. Because I think January gets a really bad rap amongst the calendar month, because it doesn't seem to have anything going for it, really, does it? You know, it's that post-Christmas feel, and people who make New Year's resolutions, generally you've all given up by now, and so you might be feeling a bit, oh, there I go again, not able to do something, and it's the days are dark and short. And I think when we get to February, March, you know, you can see the signs of spring, but January is, I think, a tough month to get through. And it reminds me of a beautiful book, one of my favorite books by Catherine May, and it's called Wintering. And it's not just talking about seasonally, although she does talk about, obviously, the season of winter, but about winter being a mindset. And it might happen, you know, different periods of our life, for example, maybe after an illness or an injury or a loss or a life change, that we feel the need to almost kind of take a moment to retreat into ourselves and kind of hibernate almost for a while. And I found this beautiful quote from the book. It's a really lovely book. If you've not read it, I would urge you to read it. It's not a long book, and it's just beautiful, really beautiful. But she wrote this: "When I started feeling the drag of winter, I began to treat myself like a favoured child with kindness and love. I assumed my needs were reasonable and that my feelings were signals of something important. I kept myself well fed and made sure I was getting enough sleep. I took myself for walks in the fresh air, and I spent time doing things that soothed me. And I asked myself, what is this winter all about? I asked myself, what change is coming? Well, hopefully the change is coming soon and the days start to get a little lighter and brighter and spring is there. But just for this next hour, treat yourself like that favoured child where all your needs are reasonable, and if that need is the need to rest, let that happen." So yeah, I love that. I'm going to treat myself like a favoured child. I was telling my mum that yesterday. She said, well, don't think you're special. So there we go. That knocked the wind out of me. Let's start by lying down today, my favoured children. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Oh, give yourself a big hug, big loving hug there for showing up this morning. Taking the time, maybe have a little rock from side to side just to do that self-soothing massage. And we're going to do something that soothes us, hopefully, with a little bit of yoga today. So when you're ready, go ahead and bring your feet down to the floor. We're going to come into that lovely pose of constructive rest. So the knees will stay bent, the feet go wide. You can always let your inner knees just prop against each other there. And maybe just lift your hips and lengthen your tailbone away from you. Maybe arch your back a little bit so you can slide the shoulder blades down the back. And when you've made those little adjustments, let the arms fall intuitively where they want to be, maybe by the side of the body. Or if you're feeling still a little bit post-festively frazzled, maybe a hand on the chest, a hand on the lower belly just helps you connect with your breath a little more. I'm just going to come up to seated so I can talk to you. Yeah, closing the eyes this morning and taking that nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, letting something go somewhere, maybe a little knot of tension you might be carrying with you, annoying thought you might be ruminating on, to-do list, thing you have to do after the class. Just lay that very kindly to one side. So this next hour is for you, doing things that soothe you. And so often we ignore those feelings that the body and the mind send us. So taking Catherine May's words to heart and assuming that all of your needs are reasonable and all of your feelings are important. So when you feel that a pose maybe isn't for you this morning, choosing to take an alternative, choosing to rest, you're choosing just to focus on your breath for a moment. We've had our first full moon of 2023 last week. So in honor of that, we've got a nice grounding flow. And maybe if this is your first practice for a while, coming back to mat maybe after an injury or an illness, or simply starting off the new year. And then again, listening to all those messages the body gives you to take it easy. Just notice if the shoulders are beginning to relax, if the face is beginning to soften, as the breath begins to deepen. All we're going to do is just simply bring the arms out to the side of the body like the top of a letter T. It's making sure you've got some space around you now as you separate your knees up towards the ceiling, keeping the feet nice and wide. Working with your breath, just start to gently tick-tock the knees from side to side. So on an inhale, you bring the knees back to center, and on an exhale, they start to drop over to the side. Maybe you keep the movement quite small this morning. Maybe you begin to turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees. So we're beginning to bring that movement not just into the lower back and into the hips, but up into the neck, the uppermost reaches of the spine. And again, if it feels good and you want to make it a little bit bigger, maybe start to press your hips forwards in the same direction as your knees. So you feel a little more stretch. I notice when I do that my opposite shoulder blade kind of lifts off the floor. So don't worry about that, losing that connection. Just get instead that kind of intuitive, nice stretch out through the top of the head. Let's do one more over to each side. Lovely. And then bringing the knees all the way back up to center. We're going to walk the feet back in towards your bottom now, hip width apart. And bringing your right hand behind your head, just let your left arm come down by the side of the body, a little bit of functional movement here. So point your elbow up towards the ceiling, so elbow and knees up towards the sky. And then as you open the elbow out to the floor, drop both knees over to the left and maybe look over your right shoulder. So inhale, knees and elbow point upwards, and exhale, open the elbow and let the knees drop open to the side. So a couple more like that, inhaling. And then as you exhale, we open, so knees and elbow going in opposite directions, feeling a little stretch across the hip and into the back. And this next time we'll pause, elbow pressing down, knees dropping over to the left. Just take a couple of breaths there, breathing into the right side of the body, the top of the hip there, getting a little stretch. Lovely. And then bringing the knees, coming back to center, interlacing both hands behind your head and pointing both elbows up towards the sky. So you're cradling your head there. Pressing into your feet, you're going to start to lift your hips up into a shoulder bridge. As you do so, open the elbows and press the elbows down into the floor as your hips come up nice and high. And then as you roll back down, point those elbows up towards the ceiling. Lovely. So as you inhale, we lift up and the elbows go nice and wide as the hips come high. And then as you exhale, we point the elbows towards each other as you roll your way back down. A couple more like that. So again, just introducing some nice functional movements here to get us back into our bodies, maybe after we've had a little break. Let's do that one more time. So lifting up, up, up as the elbows go wide. And then rolling, rolling, rolling back down. Keep the left hand behind the head. Bring the right arm down by the side of the body this time. Elbow pointing up towards the ceiling. We'll take an inhale. As you exhale, open the elbow wide and let both knees drop to the right. And then inhale, everything comes back to the middle. And then exhale, knees and elbow open in opposite directions. A couple more times, you might notice, like I do, that one side feels a little stiffer than the other. Maybe one side's got a little bit more movement in it. And this next time, we'll bring the knees over to the left, the elbow wide, and we'll pause. Maybe the head turns towards that left arm there. We take a couple of breaths there, seeing how that left side of the body feels. Lovely. And coming back to center one last time, interlace both hands behind the head, point the elbows up towards the ceiling, walk those heels close in towards you. And then as you inhale, hips lift, elbows press down into the floor, nice and wide. And then exhale, point them up towards the sky, roll your way back down. A couple more times, so everything opening, chest opening, hips getting a little stretch before we roll back down. Let's do that twice more. Oh, that feels nice this morning, just to start to find those little areas of space we can create in the body. Last time, moving with your breath. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, coming all the way down. Keeping the hands interlaced. And reach both arms back behind you, pushing your palms to the wall behind you. And then stretch out both legs and come into a lovely full body stretch. Maybe even arch your back a little bit. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Now try flexing your feet. Push your heels away from you as you push your palms back. And then slowly release, lower the arms, walk the feet back in towards you. This time bringing your right knee up and in towards your chest. Again, giving that knee a nice squeeze. And then back up into a hamstring stretch. You're going to hold on around the back of the leg. As you take the leg up towards the ceiling, soften into your shoulders as we point and flex the toes there. Just feeling a little stretch. Lovely. Beautiful. Now bring your left knee up towards your chest. So the foot is off the floor. Beautiful. And then bring your right heel down to your bottom. And then right foot down to the floor. Give that left knee a nice hug. And then holding on around the back of the leg, take that leg up. Point and flex. Point and flex. Get a little stretch there. Lovely. And then bring that right knee up in towards your chest as you bend that left knee. One hand on each knee now, take an inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze both knees in towards your chest and maybe lift your nose towards your knees. As you inhale, release, let your head come back down, your knees drop away from you. And then give everything a squeeze. And as you exhale, you can always keep your head and shoulders on the floor. One more like that, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Bring the head and the shoulders down to the floor. Bring both hands onto your left knee. And this time, right leg goes straight up into that hamstring stretch. Flex the foot. Now, a little bit of momentum here. We're going to see if you can roll your way up through the spine. So you end up seated with that right leg stretched out in front of you. That's it. Lovely. So holding on in front of that left knee, we're going to lift up through the chest. Maybe even arch your back. You're going to flex the toes, take an inhale. And as you exhale, point the toes and lean back, rounding the back. So as you inhale, flex foot, maybe a little arch of the back. And then exhale, we lean back. Get that stretch between the shoulder blades. A couple more times. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. One more time. Gorgeous. So this time we'll sit up nice and tall. We've got the right leg extended in front of you. We'll let that left knee open out to the side, bringing the heel in towards your bottom. Go ahead and stretch both legs out in front of you if that's more comfortable for your hip. Or reach the arms up, take an inhale. Coming down over that right leg as you exhale into a little forward fold. Again, acknowledging any tightness in the body by maybe keeping your chest a little higher away from the leg. Easing your way down. Lovely. And then bring your left hands to your right shin and then your right hand on top. Your right hand on the bottom, and then you've got your left hand on top. I get my lefts and rights confused. Press into your hands, you're lifting your belly away from that thigh. So the left hand is on top. And as you inhale, we're going to open that left arm out to the side into a lovely chest stretch. And as you exhale, bring both hands down. So inhale, so I can lift my belly away from that thigh. I'm not collapsing there. A little bit of engagement through the core as I open up twice more. Big reach up with that left arm. Maybe looking up towards your hand as you move. Lovely. One more time. Beautiful. And this time, both arms are going to reach up towards the sky. Circling that left hand down behind the left hip. reaching the right arm across the face, option to point the toes and lift the hips up into a little hip stretch and a baby back bend. And then we'll roll all the way back down, extending both legs out in front of you, reaching the arms out, and see if you can roll your way back down onto your mat. You might need to do a little bum wiggle forwards. Reaching back into that lovely full body stretch, reaching the arms back. Maybe wrist or ankle circles this time, or go ahead and interlace your hands again, just have that nice stretch. Beautiful. And then walking your feet back in towards you and bringing both knees in towards your chest. Lovely. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, lifting nose towards knee, coming into that little ball. Inhale, release. And as you exhale, come into that little ball, or keep head and shoulders on the floor. One more time, inhale. And exhale, lovely. So this time, both hands coming to your right knee. Now take that left leg up towards the sky, flexing the foot. See if you can roll your way up to seated. Beautiful. So holding on around the front of the knee, or you can slide the foot away from you. Inhale as you lift your chest, flex the foot. And as you exhale, point the toes and you lean back, so you're engaging through the core. Inhale. So it's a little version of our cat and cow, so a little arch of the back, and then a rounding of the back as you rock away from that knee. Twice more, inhale. Maybe the chin lifts a little bit. And exhale, feel the space between your shoulder blades broaden. Inhale. And exhale, lovely. So this time we've got the left leg extended. Let's open that right knee out to the side. Go ahead and pop something underneath your knee if you need to. We'll reach both arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll come down over that left leg, trying not to dip your chest to the left or to the right. So we're coming straight down over that extended leg. Tap the chin in gently so the neck is nice and long. Lovely. Now I'll see if I can get it right this time. Bring your left hand onto your shin and then the right hand on top of it. There we go. Press away from the shin. So we're lifting the chest. Now the right arm opens this time. Take a big breath in as you reach up. And exhale, we bring both hands down. So we're opening the arm. Depending on how your shoulder feels, you might not be lifting quite so high. Maybe it's just out to the side a little way, or maybe some of you a little bit more mobility. Get it nice and open. Let's do that just one more time. So reaching up and then bringing the hands down. And this time we'll sweep both arms up towards the sky, circling the right hand behind the hip. Taking that left arm in front of the face, option to point the toes and lift the hips up into that little hip stretch. And then we'll come all the way back down. Give the legs a little shake. And then we'll come round onto all fours. I think that's my husband's iPad pinging. He's going to irritate me, so I'll pop that outside, which I should have done before. So let's come onto all fours, apologies. Hands under shoulders, knees underneath your hips. So let's press away from the yoga mat so we feel a little broadening across the shoulder blades. And for today, we'll tuck the toes under. So we'll start to wake up through the feet. So as you inhale, we'll press into the tops of the feet as you bring the chest forwards. And then flatten the feet as you round on up into that angry cat. So toes tuck, chest comes forward. So a little bit of power there to bring your chest forwards. And then press into your shins as you round the back into that angry cat. So a couple more like that. Waking up into the feet, we're beginning to stretch out the front body and the back body. This lovely move. Let's do that one more time. And exhale. The next time you're in that lovely angry cat shape, pause, hugging belly button to spine, and gently start to move your hips from side to side, wagging your imaginary tail. And if it feels good, start to bring your ear towards your shoulder. So we're making a lovely C curve through the spine, getting that nice flexion through the spine. Then wiggle your way back to the middle. Or tuck the toes back under. And this time keep your hands where they are, but just move your bottom back towards your heels. And again, maybe move your hips from side to side so you get a gentle massage through the balls of the feet. Warming up through the wrists, keep the toes tucked as you come back onto all fours. And start to shift the weight gently forwards, bringing your shoulders just beyond your wrists. Then we come back to the middle, and then bottom to heels, press into your feet. So we come forwards, forwards, forwards. Maybe bring your shoulders just beyond your wrists, and then back down. Let's do that one more time. We ask a lot of our wrists and our feet in yoga, and yet we rarely give them any love. Lovely. This time we'll come back onto all fours, flatten your feet. As you find a child pose, walk your hands forwards, come onto your fingertops if that's comfortable. And pressing your fingertips forwards and down. Just take the sting out of the wrists as you find that lovely sense of space through the side body there. Lovely. And then we'll find our way back onto all fours, sliding your right leg back behind you. And keeping the gaze just beyond your fingers as you rock gently backwards and forwards, starting to firm up through the belly. And then coming to stillness, push the heel away, press into your hands as you flick that left shin behind you. Taking that right arm up, we'll take an inhale and exhale, stretch that right arm over the top of the head. Taking an inhale there. And as you exhale, find your way back onto all fours. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And as you exhale, round on up, angry cat. Coming to your tabletop as you stretch left foot back behind you, rocking backwards and forwards. Again, trying not to drop your head, so keeping the neck in alignment with the back. Coming to stillness, flicking right shin behind you. Left arm lifts up, inhale. And exhale, reaching your arm alongside the ear, take an in-breath there. And as you exhale, come back down onto all fours. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And exhale to round. Lovely. One more time. Right leg stretches back. Flicking the left shin behind you as you inhale, right arm up. Exhale, reaching it forwards. Lifting your ear towards your upper arm. Take an inhale. And exhale back down onto all fours. Last time. Inhale, lift the head. And exhale to round. So this time, left leg stretches back. Flicking the right shin off the mat. We'll take that left arm up, big reach up, and then big reach forwards. Taking an inhale as you press the hips forwards, and exhale back down onto all fours. Tucking the toes under now. As you inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And this time as you exhale, let's send the hips up and back into our downward dog. And from your downward dog, you can start to pedal out your feet. Maybe moving your hips from side to side if that feels good this morning. And finding a moment of stillness in your downward dog, knowing that you can always stay on all fours today if your downward dog really doesn't feel too comfortable there. Finding a little softness in the knees, so you can send your hips up and back. And then from there, start to take a little walk forwards towards the top of your mat. The feet behind your wrists. We can bend the knees generously, cradle your elbows, and maybe start to sway the body gently from side to side if that feels nice. If for whatever reason you don't want to be in a forward fold, brace your elbows on your knees and just lift your head up a little ways. Lovely. Then from there, let's come to stillness so the arms can dangle and we can roll our way up. Really think about rebuilding your spine, one vertebrae at a time. We'll come all the way up. Beautiful. Now take the arms up towards the sky. Interlace your hands and bring your hands behind your head. Let's pop the camera down a little bit. So you're cradling your head in your hands there. Beautiful. So drop the knees. And from there, I'm going to circle the body. So take the body over to the right. We come forwards and down, over to the left, and then all the way back up. So keep a little softness in the knees as you just start to move into the hips, get the back moving. It's a lovely move, this one. So you can make that movement as big or as small as feels good. Try not to move too fast. It will kind of take you a little bit giddy if you do. Let's do one more, starting in the right direction. And then we come up, we pause, and then change direction over to the left. So you can really kind of make this movement bespoke. You can point the elbows a little closer together. You can keep them wider apart. You can really make that movement big or keep it much more small and contained, whatever soothes the back. Let's do that one more time. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way back up through the center. Press the elbows wide. Let your head drop into your hands. Gently squeeze the bottom. And then coming back to center, reaching the arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, fold your way down over the legs. Sliding the hands up to your shins or your thighs, lift up halfway, take an inhale. And exhale to fold. Reaching the arms up, big breath in. And hands to heart, exhale, lovely. Adding on, inhale, reaching up. And this time as you exhale, bring the hands behind you so you can interlace them, palms facing up. You can keep a softness in the elbows or start to straighten the arms. Again, drop the knees, open up through the chest, and maybe take that forward fold with the arms lifting up and over, if that feels good this morning. Lovely. And then letting go of the hands. Let's rise on up as you inhale. Hands coming to heart, exhale. Beautiful. So coming to the top of your mat so you can step your right foot back first. So making sure you've got some space behind you there. Good, 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 good. And reach the arms up towards the sky. And this time we'll keep a nice generous openness through the arms. As though you're hugging a big beach ball over the top of the head. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, take a little side bend over to the right. Inhale to center. Over to the left. And as we do that one more time each way, try not to drop that underneath arm. It tends to want to drop away from the ear. So see if you can keep the arms in the same plane as you move the body side to side. Lovely. Coming back to center, take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your hips as you step your right leg back and turn to face the long edge of your mat. Heels in, toes out. We'll bend the knees and drop into that lovely horse or goddess pose. Trying not to pitch the body forward as we do so. And then releasing the arms. As you inhale, straighten the legs, and reach the arms up. Maybe the palms touch. Exhale, bend the knees. Hands draw down to heart. So inhale, reaching up. And really keeping the weight on the outside edges of your feet as we come down. Exhale, lovely. And again, inhale, rising up nice and tall. And exhaling, sinking back down. Beautiful. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Okay, we're going to add on. So inhale, turn all 10 toes forwards. And as you exhale, turn your left foot forwards as you open up into your warrior two. So pause there for a moment, maybe adjust that front foot so you sink a little deeper into the legs. And then palms up. As you inhale, straighten the legs. Again, arrow the arms up. And this time, maybe lift the toes of that front foot. And as you exhale, sink that down into your warrior. So as we inhale, we arrow those arms up. And exhale, sink back down. Beautiful. One more time, sinking a little deeper each time. Inhale, maybe lifting the toes. And exhale. Beautiful. This time as you inhale, left arm reaches all the way up and back. As you exhale, let's cartwheel both hands down, framing that front foot. And go ahead and lower that right knee all the way down to the floor. Beautiful. Arms sweep forwards and up. Take an inhale into our lunge. And as you exhale, bring the hands down, frame the front foot. Start to move your hips up and back as you inhale. And exhale, find your hamstring stretch. Again, maybe lifting the toes. Bending the knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up back into your lunge. And exhale, hands frame the foot. Start to move the hips as you inhale. And exhale, sink back down into your stretch. Lovely. One more time, inhale. So get a little stretch in the hip. And then exhale, fingertips to floor. Inhaling. Start to move the hips and exhale into your hamstring stretch. This time as you inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bringing the hands down. We'll slide that left knee back underneath you, coming onto all fours. As you inhale, lift the head, lift the heart, our cow pose. And bottom to heels as you find a child pose. Now we've got the option to stay there. have a rest, or inhale onto all fours, continue to move. Exhale down onto your tummy, the elbows hug in tight to the body. Inhaling, coming up onto all fours, and bottom to heels as you exhale. We're going to do that twice more. If that feels good this morning, that little roll of the body forwards, hugging those elbows in, and then we pick up the chest, breath in, and slide the hips back, breath out. One more time. Ease your way down, and then we slide the shoulders away from the ears. We'll all meet in that child pose. Lovely. Find your way back up onto all fours. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Have a little pedal out through the feet there. Maybe move the hips. And then coming to stillness, bend your knees as you look forwards. And as you inhale, step your right foot forwards. As you exhale, step the left. We rise on an inhale, sweeping the arms out and up. Hands coming down to heart. Exhale, beautiful. We're going to do all of that on the left leg. So taking the arms up, again, that big generous bend in the elbows, like you're holding that beach ball. We'll take an inhale over to the left this time with that little side bend. Up through the middle, inhale. Over to the right, trying not to drop the underneath arms, so we're getting that lovely lateral stretch. One more each way. Soften the elbows, long, long neck. Last time, over to the right. Lovely. Inhale, reaching up. As you exhale, hands to hips, we'll step the left foot back, turning to face the long edge of the mat. Heels in, toes out. Beautiful. So we'll drop into the knees, weight on the outside edges of the feet. And then as you inhale, we'll release the arms all the way out and up, straighten the legs. And exhale down the middle as you press the knees out wide. Lovely. A couple more times. So as you come down, imagine you're sliding against that wall, so we're not sending the body weight forwards. Lovely. Inhale, powering up from your feet. And exhale, release. Let's do that one more time. Coming down maybe a little deeper as we warm up into the hips. And so this time as we take the arms up, we turn the toes forwards, breath in. As you breathe out, right foot forwards this time, so we're in our warrior two, but facing the opposite way. Beautiful. Turning the palms up. Inhale, straighten the legs. Maybe pull the toes up towards the face. And exhale, back down into your warrior two. Roll through the foot. Lovely. So inhale, we grow as tall as we can. And as you exhale, you grow as broad as you can. Lovely. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. This time as you inhale, let's take that right arm up and back as we reverse our warrior. And as you exhale, big cartwheel of both hands down. Little pivot on the back foot as we lower the left knee this time to the floor. So ready for that lunge. Arms sweep up as you inhale. And then as you exhale, fingertips frame that front foot. Start to move the hips. Inhale. And then slide your way back into your hamstring stretch. Bend the knee, arms lift up, big breath in. And breathing out, hands come down. Start to move those hips, inhale. Maybe pull the toes to your face as you exhale, lovely. One more time, inhale. So get a little hip stretch in the left hip this time. Inhale, start to move. And exhale, bottom to heels. Into your lunge as you inhale, lift the arms. This time bringing both hands down. And we'll slide or help that knee back underneath you onto all fours. Inhale as you lift the head and the heart. Exhale, bottom to heels, take that child pose. Pause. What are your needs now to rest or to move? If it's the latter, inhale onto all fours. Exhale slowly and tenderly down onto your belly. And then picking up the chest or take an inhale. And back into that child pose. Exhale. Twice more if that feels good. If you want to add a little bit of flow this morning. Or maybe, again, your need this morning that you're nurturing and taking care of is just to ease the body with a little bit of rest. Let's do that one more time. One more little flow if you're with me. And we'll all meet back in that child pose, bottom to heels. Coming back onto all fours when you're ready. Toes tuck, hips lift, downward facing dog. Maybe find a moment of stillness now in that downward dog. A little bend in the knees, a pressing of your hands forwards and down. And then bending the knees even more so you can look forwards, and as you inhale, step your left foot forwards, followed by the right. Reaching the arms up to the sky, taking inhale. And exhale, hands to heart. Let me just change my place on the mat so I can mirror you. I'm going to add on this next time. So reaching the arms up, and this time you can choose either keep the arms nice and wide or go ahead and interlace the hands above your head and free up your index fingers. So upper arms are hugging the ears. We'll take an inhale. Exhale, take that little side bend over to the right. Inhale to center and over to the left. So either upper arms glued by your ears as we do that one more time, or if that's too much on the shoulders, keep the arms apart and that soft bend in your elbows. Let's come up to the middle as you separate the hands, take an inhale. And as you exhale, hands to hips, step the right leg back and turn to the long edge of your mat. Heels in, toes out. You're going to sink down into your goddess or horse pose, but this time we'll reach the arms out to the side. And coming into your eagle arm, right arm on top of left arm, either just hands on the shoulders or coming into that double wrap. So wherever you are, lift your elbows away from the chest, soften the shoulders, sink a little deeper, and just shift the weight from side to side. So lifting those elbows, fingertips up towards the sky if you've got that little double wrap, or elbows simply lifting. You'll still get a little stretch between the shoulder blades. Woo, lovely. Coming to center, we'll release the arms, turn all 10 toes forwards. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, turning your left foot forwards, coming into your warrior two. Beautiful. This time as you inhale, take that left arm up and back. And as you exhale, left forearm to thigh, right arm comes up and over into your side angle. Lovely. Inhale, we reverse. Left arm reaches up and back, keeping the legs nice and strong. And exhale, forearm to thigh. Lovely. We're going to add on. So inhale, last time, reach that left arm up and back. And as you exhale, big tick-tock of the hands down, framing that front foot. Little pivot on the back foot. You can drop the back knee or keep it lifted as you take that left arm up into a twist. Really draw that left knee in towards you. Don't let it roll out to the side as you open up through the chest. We'll take an inhale there. And exhale, lower the hands. Option, coming into your downward dog, or take the left leg up and back into a three-legged dog. Choice is yours. If you're in that three-legged dog, slowly we'll all bring the feet underneath you, back into your downward dog. Option to drop onto all fours, or inhale, roll the body forwards to a plank. And exhale into your downward dog. So you can always do this from all fours, just shifting the weight forwards like we did at the beginning, and then back onto all fours. So last time, let's rock the weight forwards. If you're with me in plank, pause, press away from your yoga mat as you take an inhale, and exhale, knees down, and your chest comes down to the floor. Hands under the shoulders this time. We'll go ahead and take them a little wider as you find your way up into a little baby cobra. Take an inhale and exhale to lower. And do that twice more, so pressing into the tops of your feet, taking those arms a little bit wider apart if your shoulders feel tight today. Let's do one last back bend of choice, little cobra, or maybe a sphinx pose, and then lower down. So yogi's choice, you can either come onto all fours, or for a little bit of strength, tuck your toes, lift your kneecaps, and as you inhale, push up into plank. Woohoo! And exhale, downward dog. That was a cheeky challenge. Pausing there in your downward facing dog. And this time as you inhale, I'm going to sweep the right leg up behind you. And as you exhale, step or help it forwards, top of the mat. Inhaling, left foot comes to the top of the mat into your flat back. And exhale to fold. Let's rise on up, sweeping the arms out and up. Hands coming to hearts. Beautiful. But luckily, we've only got 2 legs. So we'll do that on the left side. So as you reach those arms up, last time with that little flow again, arms apart, or go ahead and interlace the hands above you. Free up your index fingers, upper arms, hug your ears. Take an inhale. Take that little side bend to the left. Inhale to center. Keeping those arms glued to your ears if you've got your hands interlocked above the head. One more each way. Getting that lovely side stretch. Inhale through the middle. And over to the right. Let's take a big breath in as you reach up, separate your hands. And exhale, hands to hips. So we can step that left leg back, turning to the long edge of the mat. Heels in, toes out. Last time to sink into that horse. Woo! Reaching the arms out. And this time left arm on top of right arm. So again, go ahead and just cross and bring the hands onto your shoulders, or come into that eagle with your double wrap. Wherever we are, lift the elbows away from the chest, soften the shoulders to sink a little bit deeper. And then again, just rock from side to side. So upper back getting a stretch, hips building up strength, grounding through the feet. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's come back to center. Release the arms, turn the toes as you reach up, take an inhale. Right foot faces forward this time as you open up into your warrior 2. Beautiful. So right arm reaches up and back. Let's take an inhale as you reverse your warrior. And right hand or forearm to thigh. Left arm comes over the top of the head. Lovely. One more time each way. Inhale, big tick-tock up and over. Lovely stretch through the front of the body. And then left side of the body, getting that lovely stretch as we find our side angle. Last time to reach that right arm up and back. And this time as you exhale, big wimble of the hands down. Option to lower back that back knee or keep it lifted. Drop the hips as you take the right arm up. So really draw that right hip in towards you so you're not popping it out to the side. Take one more inhale in your twist. And exhale, bring the hand down. Now we can come straight into a downward dog or take your right leg up and back into your 3-legged dog. And then we'll all find our way back into your downward dog. Option to drop onto your knees. Or in your downward dog, as you inhale, roll the body forwards to plank. And exhale, push back, downward dog. Remember, you can do this from all fours, shifting the weight backwards and forwards into a plank. And then up into your dog. Last time we'll roll forwards. Let's all pause there. If you're in that plank, press away from your yoga mat, take an inhale. Knees lifted or lower to come down onto your tummy. Flatten your feet. Adjust your hands if you need to as you find your little back bend. Take an inhale. And exhale, release. So as we do that twice more, remember hands nice and wide. Offers you more space if you find your shoulders are tight. So again, listening to what your body needs today. One more, inhale. And exhale. So you can either come up onto all fours and find a downward dog, or with me, tuck the toes, lift your kneecaps, and as you inhale, push up through plank, and then into your downward dog. That's a strong move, hey? Well done, team. Pausing in that downward dog. And as you inhale, let's float the left leg up this time. And as you exhale, step it forwards, top of the mat. Inhale, step the right foot forwards into your flat back. And exhale to fold. Let's rise on up. Big breath in. Woo. Hands to heart. Close the eyes for a moment. Let's let the breath settle. That's got things moving, hasn't it? That's woken us up after New Year. Lovely. So we've moved a lot with the body. Let's focus a little bit on the mind as we come into a little balance challenge, knowing that you can use a little bit of furniture or the wall if you're feeling a bit wibbly wobbly today. So you blink your eyes open and bring your hands onto your hips for a little bit of feedback. Just going to pick up your right heel and just notice if the hips have bumped out to the left and see if you can just draw those hips back up through the center. So we're going to cross your right toes over your left foot. So I'm balanced on the ball of the foot there. Now see if you can squeeze your inner thighs together as you sink down into that supporting leg. Option one, we stay here. Not all ankles will like this next one. So you can option to wrap the right foot and tuck it behind the left shin. And reach the arms out to the side. Back into your eagle, left arm on top. So you might have your hands on your shoulders. You might come into that little double wrap. Sink a little deeper as you take the elbows up. Squeezing everything towards the midline. So get that nice hug of your inner thighs together as you take your gaze forwards. You've got that little double wrap. Be mindful of ankles. Lovely. Slowly release the arms. Going to take the arms up. See if you can pick up that right knee and just pause. You can always tap the toes down. Coming into that one-legged mountain pose. Beautiful. And then lower the foot carefully and bring the hands back down to your heart. Have a little pad out through the feet. That double wrap really doesn't work for all ankles or knees. So really be mindful as we come onto the other side, as I'm sure you always are. Hands onto hips. So as you pick up your left heel, make sure we've not pumped the hips out to the side and pull up nice and tall through that right side. And then we cross onto the ball of the foot, or you can even keep both feet underneath you and just work the arms. So as you bend the knees, we're squeezing the inner thighs together. And again, some ankles might want that little double wrap as you reach the arms out. And so this time, wibbly wobbly on that side. This time, we're taking right arm on top. So as you come into your eagle, lifting those elbows away from your chest and sinking a little deeper, squeezing everything towards the midline. Wobbles on that standing leg. Lovely. And slowly unfurling the arms. Can you pick up that left knee as you reach the arms up into that one-legged mountain? Woo! And then lower the foot, bring the hands to the heart. Lovely. Give the legs a little shake. Let's bend the knees, sweep the arms out and up. Take an inhale. All the way down into your forward fold as you exhale. Lifting up halfway, big breath in. As you breathe out, stepping back into your plank pose. Whoa, that got us, didn't it? And so from your plank, a little cheeky challenge. Just swing your hips over to the right, coming into a side plank as you take the left arm up. Option to bend that right knee underneath you, just like we did at the beginning. Lifting the hips up, rolling through center, taking that to the other side. So right arm lifts up. Option to bring that left knee underneath you, lifting the hips a little higher. Cheeky challenge, come back to the center. Well done. Beautiful. Option to lower the knees as you come down onto your tummy. This time we'll rest the head on the hands, reaching both legs back behind you. As you find a moment in your crocodile pose, resting your forehead on your hands there. And then from there, with a flexed foot, bring your right heel in towards your bottom. And you might choose to stay there this morning, building up strength as you feel the buttock and the thigh really having to work there. Or if you want stretch, reach your right arm back behind you, take hold of the ankle, and bringing those knees back to parallel, you bring the heel in towards your bottom. So we can work on strength or stretch there, the choice is yours. And gently pressing your hips down into the floor, stretching that knee away from your hip. Really stretching out through the thighs. We've done a lot on the thighs there, so let's stretch them out this morning. And then slowly we'll swap sides. So just pause for a moment as you bring that left heel in with a flexed foot. So you want to kick your own bottom. And again, that's building up strength. So this might be where you stay or reach the arm round. Draw those knees back into parallel as you bring the heel in towards your bottom. Little squeeze there. Lengthening that knee away from you. Lovely. Slowly, slowly release. Bring both hands underneath your forehead so you can bend both knees so the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. And you might just rock the legs from side to side like windscreen wipers, or you might have a little circle around on your kneecaps. So just circling the legs round in one direction and then just circle them round in the opposite direction. Whatever you're doing, just releasing through the front of the hips. And then we'll all bring the legs back to the mat behind you. Hands under the shoulders, push up onto all fours. Now you might choose to keep the knees parallel, or I'm going to widen my knees, pointing my big toes towards each other. Bottom to heels, sliding the arms forwards into your child pose. Take a little movement there, maybe just moving the hips so you can snuggle your bottom back towards your heels before you let the body come to stillness. Taking a couple of breaths there. You can always rest your forehead on your hands like you've just done if you find the floor is a little bit far away this morning. And you've got the option to stay there, or you can join me in a little shoulder stretch, coming onto the tips of your fingers on your right hand, so you can thread your left arm under your right arm. Take that shoulder away from the ear and try and roll that right armpit up towards the sky a little bit. A little gentle stretch between the shoulder blades there. That's it. And then slowly, slowly, we'll swap sides, coming onto the tips of your fingers on your left hand. Switch your right arm this time that feeds onto the left arm. Just snuggle the shoulder away from the ear. Try and roll your left armpit up towards the sky there. And then slowly reaching both arms out in front of you. And then taking the time as you walk your hands back towards your knees. So we're lifting the chest up, bring both knees together, drop your bottom to one side so we can swing the legs round in front of you. So you can always pop yourself up on a cushion or a yoga block to help tip your pelvis forward, so if you're not rounding through the back. So you want to be sitting up nice and tall there. As you reach the arms up, breath in and breathing out. Take a little forward fold. So remember, you can always bend your knees and wrap your arms underneath your thighs if you need a little bit of support today. Finding your way down into that fold. And closing the eyes as you just let the body yield forwards. Slowly, slowly rolling your way back up, and we'll slide your right foot in towards you. So this time you can keep your foot on the floor on the inside or cross it to the outside. Left hand or elbow gives that knee a squeeze, and we'll take a big circle with the right arm, maybe fingertips finding the floor behind you, or bring your hand onto your low back. So you turn the body round towards the right side, making sure you've not lifted that right buttock off the floor there. Lovely. And then slowly release. We'll come back to center. Lots of options here. So you can either just cross your right ankle on top of your left ankle if this next move is uncomfortable. I'm going to take hold of my right foot and very gently draw it back towards my left hip, so my knees are on top of each other and pointing forwards. So either right ankle on top of left ankle, or right knee stacked on top of left knee. If your knee is not a space between them, maybe just cross at the ankles. Fingertips find the floor, and then take a little walk forward. So we're coming over the legs, whether you've got them crossed at the ankles or whether you've crossed your knees on top of knee. Just finding that half cow-faced pose. Ooh, and you might feel some quite strong sensations going on in your outer left thigh and hip. That's where I feel it. You might be feeling it differently. Lovely. Slowly release. Ooh, that's a tight one, hey. Let's extend the legs and give them a shake. It's a strong stretch, but luckily, like I say, we've only got 2 legs, so we'll bring the left heel up and in. Foot might stay on the inside or cross it to the outside. Choice is yours. Try not to lift the bottom off the floor, whatever we're doing. Right hand or elbow gives the knee a squeeze. So this time it's the left arm takes a big circle. Fingertips behind you or hand on the low back as you start to turn your chest towards the left this time. Nice rinse out through the spine. Lovely. And then slowly coming back through the center. Now this side might feel very differently. So again, left ankle on top of right ankle, or just gently draw your left heel back towards your left hip. So your toes are pointing back behind you and your knees are stacked on top of each other there. Fingertips find the floor. And again, you take that little walk forward. So you might have the ankles crossed. You might have one knee on top of the other knee, and one side might feel very differently to the other. So again, we listen to the needs of the body. That's it. Slowly, slowly release. Beautiful. Come all the way back through the center. Give those legs one final shake, and then pop a bend in the knees. Ease your way down onto your back. Grab a jumper if you're in a chilly room. Ease your way down onto your back and bring those knees with you. Lovely. And then with one hand on each knee, just start to circle the knees out and around, drawing individual circles with your knees, like you're doing a big lazy breaststroke, just to ease out into the hips after that little cow pose there. And then just gently change direction. Yeah, it might be a little bit stiff in the hips there. And then when your knees are back in towards your chest this next time, pause. And bring both hands onto your right knee so you can bring your left foot down to the floor. Hugging that knee in towards your chest, you can keep your left foot on the floor or slide the leg away from you. Keeping your heel pressed down into your mat as you draw that knee a little bit closer up towards you. It might roll out towards your armpit a little bit, but try and keep your left toes pointing up towards the sky. And then using your left hand on your right knee, let's bring that right knee across the body into a little twist. So maybe your bottom lifts off the floor, your shoulder blade probably will lift off the floor. It's all good. And then rolling onto your back, keeping that right knee hugged up and in as you bring the left knee up to join it. And then both hands on your left knee, let's bring the right foot down to the floor. And it might stay there this morning, keeping the knee bent. We'll go ahead and stretch the leg out and away in front of you, pressing the heel down, toes pointing up towards the sky. So you give that knee a squeeze. Then right hand on your left knee, as you carry that knee across the body into a twist. Seeing how that feels. And then slowly rolling onto your back. Bringing both knees in towards your chest, widen your knees with one hand on each knee. And then slide your hands down towards the tops of your shins, your ankles. And press your heels down towards your bottom as you send your knees out nice and wide. Try and lengthen your lower back down into the mat. Tailbone will probably lift off the mat, but see if you can work towards releasing as much of the lower back, the back of the pelvis down into the mat. And you might stay there, and then if you want a happy baby pose, you take hold of the inside or outside edges of your feet. But that same principle of dropping some weight into the back of the pelvis there, lengthening your tailbone away. So wherever we are, let's slowly release. Bring those knees back in towards your chest before bringing the feet to the floor and either coming back to where we started in that constructive rest, feet wide, maybe inner knees knocking together. Or you might want to stretch the legs out in front of you. I'll come up to seated just so I can talk to you. If anyone doesn't like lying down on their backs and wants to sit up, you feel free to join me. Hands on the knees or hands in your lap. Closing the eyes once more. So giving yourself that little pat on the back for having shown up this morning. Done something hopefully that soothes you. Starting this new year. That sense of loving kindness towards ourselves, moving our bodies gently and listening to our needs, which are indeed all reasonable. Taking heed of our feelings, which again are all signals of something important and to be acknowledged. Acknowledging that winter is that time when energy might feel a little lower, where the body needs a little bit more rest. It's that sense of withdrawing into ourselves before we re-emerge into that lovely spring sunshine, which is just around the corner, I'm sure. The moment we can winter. You might choose to stay there, or when you're ready to re-emerge into this new day, some much needed sunshine, to start to deepen and lengthen the breath as you bring a little bit of movement to your fingers, your toes. Maybe even take the arms back above your head as you straighten both legs out. Take a lovely full body stretch. And lower the arms as you walk your feet back in towards you. Bringing those knees in towards your chest so you can roll or turn onto one side. And then come up to seated when you're ready. Take your time if you want to stay lying down. Lovely. Let's all bring the fingertips just down to the floor by your hips, and so you can get that sense of lifting up nice and tall through your breastbone. Lovely. Ready to face this lovely morning as you inhale, reach the arms up. January is not all bad, is it, on a morning like this? And as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart, your chin to your chest. And namaste and happy new year to all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. Okay.
Thank you, Helen.